Contrary to popular belief, tarot is not about predicting the future. It's more like a mirror. So, I'm going to share with you today a few lessons that tarot has taught me about letting go. I am HeatherAnne from HeatherAnne in Progress. And one of the things I am in progress on is learning how to be a better tarot reader. I have been reading tarot just for myself for about 6 years now, to think about that. And one of my goals for 2026 was to learn how to read the cards for other people and to be more intuitive in my reading of the cards. But in the meantime, I've got my own personal practice with it. And so I've learned some things about it. And I'm going to share a few of those lessons with you in this video. So one thing about reading the tarot is you never know it all. I don't think it's possible to ever know it all. So a little bit of background. I'm also a lawyer. I have a law degree. I went to UMKC School of Law, where I actually now work. In law school, they tell you that there is only one correct answer to every question in law school. And that correct answer is it depends. Because every case or every fact pattern is going to be slightly different. And so the laws and the rules are going to apply to every different situation slightly differently because the facts are different. And I find that to be true very much with tarot. So even if you have memorized 6 different book definitions of what a particular card means, when you put that card into a reading, you are going to need to apply those meanings to that reading, which is going to be a little bit different every time, even if it's just for you, because you're going to be in a different place in your life every time that you sit down with your cards. And so even though I have been reading for 6 years, I am still a work in progress and still learning, and I don't have it all figured out. But I have learned some lessons that have helped me along the way, so I'm going to share them with you. Lesson number 1, letting go isn't loss, it's release. So in particular, one of the cards that comes up a lot for letting go is the Death card. A lot of people, this is one of those scary major arcana cards that when Hollywood gets a hold of the tarot deck, they're like, oh, death. It's not that scary. Yes, it is kind of doom and gloomy. It's unshockingly, I use cat tarot decks. But it's not death as in dead. It's death as in the ending of something. And many times in life, we don't always realize it until sometime after it. When something ends and it feels painful, that ending has opened a door for something else to come into our life. But when the card comes up in a reading, it can just mean that something that has been holding on to you in your life is being released. And in that release, it is opening up opportunities for something else. One of the things that's really hard as you're getting into midlife and you're letting go of old habits is you have this fear that you're going to lose your own identity when you do that. And I really don't think we are. I think you're just peeling off a layer of your identity that was actually holding back who you really are. It was releasing something that was keeping you from being who you should be. And there can be a moment of grief for that, but don't wallow so deeply in it that you lose the opportunity to become what you should have been, that you were releasing that thing to do. And so for me, when I first started reading, I was kind of, afraid of what if the Death card comes up. But every time it has come up in the situation of you need to release that now in order to move on to the next phase. And every time I have heeded its advice, because remember, tarot is a mirror. It's telling me something I already know, but that I'm not choosing to pay attention to. And that Death card comes up and says, you need to pay attention to this. You need to stop putting your head in the sand. You need to release this thing that is no longer serving you. And when I have heeded its warning, it has been a positive thing for me. So letting go isn't always about loss. I mean, obviously there are specific situations where it is, but most of the time that letting go is not about loss, it's about release. And that can be a very positive thing. So tarot does not predict the future. It just holds up a mirror. So lesson number 2 is that you cannot control the outcome, only the energy you put into something. And that is our Wheel of Year, or even the Hanged Man. So I'm going to, our cute little kitty cards here. So the Wheel of Year is obviously, it's a wheel. It's about life cycles, destiny. And our Hanged Man is literally about letting go and surrendering to whatever is happening, because that's that thing. It's like the tarot is not telling the future, because at the end of the day, you can't control the outcome, because what you can control is your energy, your effort. When my kids were little, I tried to really get people to not tell them things like, oh, you're so smart, because smart feels like it's uncontrollable. It goes back to the, if you've heard of fixed mindset versus growth mindset, the fixed mindset is that you are X amount of smart, and no matter what you do, you're not going to get smarter or less smart. There's nothing that's going to change that. Where that growth mindset means that as long as you are putting in effort and you are working at something, you are going to improve. And that's what this kind of, this energy is around the wheel of the Wheel of the Year, or excuse me, the Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Fortune, and or the Hanged Man, is just letting go of gripping so tightly to what the potential outcome is, and focusing on what energy are you putting into it, because that you can control. You can work your hiney off on a task and do everything right, and it still not work out. But you are going to gain so much more from the effort of having put in the energy if you just do the work, put in the energy, and let go of your white knuckling the outcome. Forcing things doesn't work. Putting in the time and the effort, and at some point, sort of letting go of your death grip on a specific outcome, and just letting your energy and your efforts take you where they lead you, that is going to make your life significantly more peaceful. So one thing for you to think about is, where in your life right now are you white knuckling it that you can release a little bit, let go a little bit, and just see where your efforts take you. The numbered cards in tarot are kind of a journey from the beginning of the aces to the tens at the end. And one of the things that tarot has taught me is that some things just have a natural ending, and that's okay. The 10 of any suit is about completion energy, not failure. And so sometimes completion can feel like a failure because you get to the end of a journey and you didn't get the result you wanted. See the prior lesson about you don't have control over the outcome. But also see that the death lesson I talked about just a minute ago as well. Sometimes you need to complete the journey in order to start a new one that might better serve you. Don't think of tens as a bad draw. Some people do feel like they're kind of scary looking, because like, look at our wands guy here. He's very burdened. He's got all of those sticks that he's carrying himself. That it's like the end. Is it just me, or I always think of pentacles and cups as a little friendlier than swords and wands. But it's not, don't think of it as the end, but think of it as a doorway. Remember, gosh, we're just going to be full of cliches this video. When one door closes, another door opens. That's kind of what the 10 energies are. And that goes back to that lesson that I learned, that some things just have a natural ending, and that's okay. That some things just have a natural ending, and that's okay. And lesson number 4 is your intuition already knows the answer. Tarot doesn't tell you what to do. It just surfaces what you are already sensing and not willing to tell yourself is the correct answer yet. Remember, it's a mirror. So one of the ways to really get better at this in your tarot practice, which I think then translates into helping you tap into your intuition and trust it more in the rest of your life, even if you don't have cards in your hands, is to sit with your tarot cards, if that's where you want to start. You sit with your tarot cards, or just sit with a problem that you're trying to solve with just your cards, or just your mind and a piece of paper and a pencil. Don't Google it. Don't text your friends. Don't talk to your therapist. quiet your mind and just sit with the idea for a little while. And that's one of the things that I find helpful when I'm working on trying to think through a problem like that. The cards are helpful, because if you've got a really nice deck, they're very visually interesting. And when I've got a question that I probably really know the answer to, or if I don't know it, it's there, I just can't surface the right direction with it. Being able to just pull a card, and what stands out for me? What is my eye immediately drawn to? I did, on a related but unrelated note, when my kids were little, we still occasionally do this, and they would have two choices, and they could not decide between the choices. Like, do I want the red ball or the blue ball? I would have them flip a coin. It's a forced choice. And if it's heads, it's the red ball. If it's tails, it's the blue ball. Now, the trick was I did not hold them to the heads or tails. But what the heads or tails will tell you immediately is which one you really want more. Because if it's heads is the red ball and it comes up heads and you're like, yes, it's the red ball, then you know it was the red ball you really wanted more. If heads is the red ball and it comes up tails and you're like, oh, you wanted the blue ball. Same thing, right? And so I find tarot helps me with that, because if I'm like pondering on this question, should I go on this specific work trip? Like, it's an optional thing. Should I go on it or not? And you've got your pros and cons. First of all, let your mind just find the pros and cons. Don't Google it. Don't go to your ChatGPT or your Claude. Don't text your friends, whatever. Let your own mind wander through some of the pros and cons. But then pull a card. Where does your eye draw first? If your eye draws first, I'm not going to find one as soon as I start flipping. Maybe you get the 10 of cups and it's like your family is all cuddled up together and sweet and adorable. And you're like, maybe that's telling me that I shouldn't go, because and that may be where your brain is like, well, I shouldn't go. But then if your mind looks at this and you're going, oh, that's so sweet, they're kissing goodbye before one of them leaves on the journey. If that's where your brain goes, then you should go on the journey. And these, I think, just help you, the cards and the images really help you laser focus your own mind into coming up with decisions. It can be so easy in today's world, where you have the entirety of the knowledge of history and our fingertips and our little smartphone devices. It can be so easy to always offload the responsibility of making a decision to someone else, or to completely and continually second guess yourself because, well, I think I should go on the trip. Oh, but I should go check and see what the political environment. I mean, obviously, if it's a safety issue, that's one thing. But you can overthink things and let the internet in particular, but even your friends, talk you in and out of things, and never once stop and listen to the own little voice in your head, your own intuition telling you what you should do. And spending time in quiet, going through pros and cons, using as something like a tarot as a tool, can really help you lock into your own tuition and make decisions that are best for you and not best for the people on Reddit. Tarot is a letting go practice. Yes. Tarot as a fine tunement for your own intuition. Absolutely. Tarot as fortune telling. No, I don't think so. Maybe I'm sure there are readers out there that probably can and do use it in that way. I do not. I don't recommend it either, because even if you're like, am I going to find the house of my dreams next week? And your tarot card comes up and says, yes, you are absolutely going to find the house of your dreams next week. If you don't leave your house and go look at houses, you're not going to find the house. Like, you still have to be responsible for going out and taking action. And as soon as we take action, then there's the possibility of changing the next thing that's going to happen. I do not believe in fate. I believe in the absolute infinite butterfly effect of the world. Of every small action we take is going to send us in a different direction. And so in terms of, is tarot going to tell the future? Not if you don't actually take action. And even then, no. So I am curious, if you use your tarot cards as your own sort of coach and personal guide and to help you tap into your intuition, what are some of the lessons that you've learned? And what are some of the things that have helped you release and let go? As always, I'm going to be doing a little bit of in progress, some letting go, some midlife stuff, maybe a little decluttering. So if you would like to follow along on my journey of progress, be sure to hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. I do also post guided visualization meditations for the full moons and the new moons. If you want to follow along for daily tarot, always a cat deck, different one every month, then find me at Cat Lady Tarot 7 on Instagram. So before we check out on this, Lessons Tarot has taught me about letting go. So I draw a quick card before I give you the tagline. Awesome. The Ace of Chalices or the Ace of Cups. So aces are beginnings and cups are about relationships. So this is telling me you should subscribe. How funny is that? Because it's the beginning of something beautiful, a beginning of a new relationship. So make sure you follow along. I look forward to connecting with you in the comments and on my next video. I am HeatherAnne with HeatherAnne in Progress. And remember, small, consistent actions add up to big changes.